NASCAR Cup Series races officially concluded from Daytona International Speedway, and Ryan Blaney pulls off the last lap pass in a 4-wide finish and picks up his second win of 2025. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race in Daytona International Speedway, the Coke Zero Sugar 400. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So for the green flag drop in today's race, Joey Gase and William Byron would have to go to the rear front to prove the adjustments, and William Byron, who had issues in inspection, would have to come down pit road on lap number 2 to basically serve his penalty. So at the start of the race, they had Ryan Blaney lead the field from the outside with Alex Bowman on the inside, and Ryan Blaney got a fantastic start and was able to clear for the race lead. Early in this race, guys tried to get by Ryan Blaney the first 10 to 15 laps, so Ryan Blaney would lead the first 10 to 15 laps of the race. The first caution note would come out on lap number 12 when Casey Mears spun off turn number 4 from 32nd position, had a flat tire and basically hit the outside wall, got a ton of damage on the car. There was some near contact between Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and William Byron trying to avoid that crash, but they were able to save it. Casey Mears would go a couple laps down because of this. Meanwhile, some strategy happened. Chris Buescher, Ty Gibbs, John Henry Machek, Cole Custer, Zane Smith, Chase Elliott, Riley Herbst, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson all came down pit road while the rest leaders stayed out. Chris Buescher came down pit road, had a lengthy pit stop to fix some of the brake issues he was having. So then on the restart, you had Ryan Blaney lead the field from the outside with Suarez on the inside, and Ryan Blaney got a fantastic push and was able to clear for the race lead. A couple laps later, another incident would happen and a playoff contender would run into problems. Todd Gillen and Tyler Reddick would have contact coming off of turn number 4. Tyler Reddick, to me, looked like he got tied off of turn number 4 while Todd Gillen came down the racetrack. To me, that's just a racing deal at that point. Just a big mistake by both those guys, and Reddick hit the inside wall and got a ton of damage on the car. That's just a racing deal. Luckily for Reddick, his night would not be over. He wouldn't be really a major factor throughout the rest of the night, but he still would be in the race. So then on the restart, you had Ryan Blaney lead the field from the outside with Bubba Wallace on the inside, and Daniel Suarez gave a really good push to Bubba Wallace and was able to get the race lead for a lap, and then Daniel Suarez, he got a great run, and he was able to take the race lead. But then on lap number 27, the big one would strike. Coming to the tri-oval of the event, Kyle Larson gave a little bit of push to Bubba Wallace. Joey Logano forced Larson up the track a little bit. Everyone would close in. The gap would close in. Bubba got a big push from Kyle Larson. Larson gets in the back of Bubba. This causes the group the gap, and we have a massive crash that takes place when Logano, Busch, and Bubba all end up colliding into each other, and a lot of cars get collected, including Austin Cindric, Noah Gragson, Denny Hamlin gets collected, wouldn't be a factor, Austin Hill, Riley Herbst, Zane Smith, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Alex Bowman are all collected in the wreck. This would pretty much take Alex Bowman out of the race, and what this would mean is that Alex Bowman would be praying throughout the rest of the night he'd be getting in. To me, it's just a racing deal. I think there's a lot of parties involved with this. I don't think there's one driver completely involved. You could blame Larson for the wreck. You could blame Bubba for the wreck. You could blame Logano for the wreck. The only one in that situation you can't blame is Kyle Busch. To me, that's just one of those racing deals. I think people could have been a lot smarter in that situation, and I think that's a big wreck that could have been avoidable, but it is what it is. They would have to red flag the race because for cleanup on the track, and eventually after about 9 minutes, we got back under caution. Daniel Suarez, Brad Keselowski, Carson Hocevar, Cody Ware, Chris Buescher, Austin Hill, Eric Jones all came down, paired among other guys, while the rest leaders would stay out. And then on the restart, Ryan Blaney lead the field from the outside with Michael McDowell on the inside, and Ryan Blaney got a really good push and was able to clear for the race lead. And on the white flag of the event, Kyle Larson, and the stage 1, I should say, Kyle Larson had a really big run on the outside of Ryan Blaney going to turn number 1. He gets a really big push from his teammates. He would come off the corner holding out the field and would come off the corner and win stage number 1. And we got the whirling at that point that Alex Bowman would be out. But for Larson, his 3rd stage win at a super speedway this year, and he'd be winning more playoff points as well. So most of the leaders came down pit road, except Ross Chastain, Cody Ware, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Ty Gibbs, but then the next lap or so, those guys would come down pit road, except Cody Ware. On the restart, you had Cody Ware lead the field from the outside with Brad Keselowski on the inside, and Cody Ware got a really good run, was able to clear for the lead. And then eventually, after some time with Cody Ware leading on lap 55, Ty Dillon made a big move to the inside and was able to get by Cody Ware for the race lead. And then you had Cody Ware trying to battle back and forth. You had Ross Chastain, he would get the lead on lap number 65 of the event, and then you had Shane Van Gisbergen get a really big run. He actually took the race lead on lap number 67, but then Cody Ware got by and moved up there, and then basically basically Shane Van Gisbergen got back up front for a little bit, and then Michael McDowell got the lead. He had a lot of back and forth, and Joey Logano also charging his way up to the front as well. And then a lap number 83, another caution would come out for Carson Hocevar, who unfortunately blew an engine. Hocevar's had some engine issues this year. This would take Carson Hocevar out of contention to make a playoff spot at the end of the night. His night would be over after some great racing that was happening up front in the race. During the caution, most of the cars came down pit road except William Byron, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Michael McDowell, Ty Dillon, and AJ Allmendinger. So on the restart, William Byron lead the field from the outside with Chase Elliott on the inside. And William Byron got a really good push and was able to clear for the race lead. But the guys on tires were coming, including Michael McDowell and Joey Logano. And eventually Chase Briscoe got a really, really big run and was able to clear for the race lead as well. With a couple laps to go, William Byron Logano split Chase Briscoe and he would go a little bit farther to the back. And Kyle Larson also lost a ton of ground as well during that time. On the white flag at the stage, Joey Logano tried to make the move on the inside down the backstretch. There's a lot of raw chassis to make a big move to the outside. They would come down the front straightaway in a very close finish, and coming off the corner, Ross Chastain would come down and win stage number 2, followed by Christopher Bell, Joey Logano, William Byron, and John Hunter Nemechek. Then during the caution, William Byron and Chase Elliott would come down pit road on a close pit due to basically being very close on fuel. They would have to go to the tail end of the longest line because of that. And then all lead lap cars would then come down pit road, except Cole Custer, Brad Keselowski, and Justin Haley. Meanwhile, Christopher Bell won the race off pit road, and Daniel Suarez got a speeding penalty on pit road. And then he had a bunch of guys come down pit road to top off. And then on the restart, you had Christopher Bell lead the field from the outside with John Hunter Nemechek on the inside, and Christopher Bell got a really solid restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Meanwhile, a couple laps later, you had Casey Mears, who unfortunately got a right side tire that went down, but unlike the first time, the caution would not come out. But then the final caution, or the second to last caution of the race, would come out with 53 laps to go when Denny Hamlin slowed in the tri-oval with a flat right front tire and hit the outside wall, had a ton of damage on the car, and would unfortunately his night at the time would be over. Hamlin got a ton of damage on the car. Nothing he can do in that situation. That would be a very unfortunate situation there for Hamlin, whose night was not going as good as it is. His chance to win would be over. So then all lead lap cars have then come down pit road, except Shane Van Gisbergen, Cody Ware, AJ Allmendinger, Daniel Suarez, Tyler Reddick. But then eventually on lap 112, Shane Van Gisbergen, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney came down, and they had a bunch of guys come down to top off, including Cody Ware, AJ Allmendinger, Daniel Suarez, Ross Chastain, John Hunter, Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, Todd Gillen, Ryan Blaney all came back down pit road. And then on the restart, you had Austin Dillon lead the field from the outside, with on the inside another guy making moves, and Austin Dillon got a really good push from Kyle Larson, was able to take the race lead. And then we saw a lot of back and forth as Joe Logano got a really, really big run and was able to clear for the race lead. At this point, pretty much Joe Logano would have the race lead from then. But eventually Austin Dillon got a really good run and got the lead, and then Chase Briscoe got the lead for a bit, but then Logano continued having the race lead at that point. But Eric Jones is also charging his way up to the front as well. Meanwhile, you had BJ McLeod, who hit the outside wall in turn number 2, but was able to continue going. And then Eric Jones got a really big push from Chris Buescher and was able to get the lead for a second, but then Joe Logano got a great run, was able to take the race lead back. Meanwhile, with 16 laps to go, AJ Allmendinger had an engine issue in turn number 1. His night would be over and he would go to the garage. And then another big incident of the day would happen 13 laps to go when a tire would go down for Logano after Logano got loose. Basically, it looked like Jones maybe got in him, but Eric Jones never got into the back of Logano. Logano ends up spinning on the outside and spins into the grass, bringing out the yellow and the caution. I think he tried to bring the caution down intentionally, to be honest, but Logano's chance to win, at least for there, would be over after having maybe the fastest car in the middle to end of this race. Logano just got loose, no contact between him, just a big mistake there from Logano, just lost it off the corner. That's a tough corner coming off of turn 4 especially. Sometimes guys just get loose there, and unfortunate there for Joey Logano. So then, on the restart with 8 to go, you had some guys come in top off, by the way, like Austin Dillon, Chase Briscoe, Ty Dillon, and Brad Keselowski. You had a restart with 8 to go, with Eric Jones leading the field from the outside and Justin Haley on the inside, and they both remained side by side. And then eventually with 6 to go, Justin Haley got a really big push going in turn number 2 and was able to clear the lead from Eric Jones, but then Eric Jones got another great run and fought back to the outside. And then Ryan Preece got a really big run as well, and he challenged Justin Haley for the race lead. And then they remain side by side for the lead with 4 laps to go in the race. But with 3 laps to go, Ryan Preece would get shuffled to the middle lane after Kyle Larson made the move to the outside with 3 laps to go and tried to make the move there, and everyone just started swirling up, and a lot of guys were coming, including Cole Custer. You had Daniel Suarez charging up there, you had Ryan Blaney charging up there, and a lot of the major contenders would be up front. And coming to the white flag of the event, you had Kyle Larson get a run to the outside and try to get the lead, but Cole Custer got a really big run on Justin Haley and was able to take the race lead. But going down the back straightaway, Justin Haley tried to pull a big block on Cole Custer going down the back. This would allow guys like Ryan Blaney and Daniel Suarez to charge up to the front, and Ryan Blaney got a great run coming off of turn number 4. As they came across the start-finish line, you had 4 cars. You had guys spinning like Chris Buescher and Cole Custer spinning after the start-finish line. You had a 4-wide finish coming in the line between Ryan Blaney, Daniel Suarez, Justin Haley, and I think Cole Custer as well. They're all batting all the way across to the checkered flag and the finish line, one of the closest finishes in NASCAR Cup history, and Ryan Blaney is the one to get the run off the corner and picks up his second win of the 2025 season and picks up his 15th career NASCAR Cup Series win and a second win at Daytona International Speedway. What a drive from Ryan Blaney at the end of this race. Ryan Blaney was dominant early in the race, but he faded back in the middle portion of the event, trying to save a lot of fuel for the end of the event. And Ryan Blaney tonight had a really solid and really good car. And for him, he needed this win for extra playoff points. This 12 team has had a lot of speed so far this year, especially on the super speedways, but they haven't had all the finishes to show for it. But they now have got a second win. This is going to be a huge confidence booster for the 12th team going into the playoffs. A really good night for the number 12 team. A fantastic run for Blaney. A great finish nonetheless, having 4 wide across the line. One of the closest finishes we've seen for 4 drivers across the line. A fantastic finish. Great to see that. Congratulations to Ryan Blaney on picking up the win at Daytona. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the race results and get my score and thoughts on today's race. So Ryan Blaney picks up the win. Daniel Suarez finishes second. So close to picking up his first win since Atlanta last year. What a great run for Daniel Suarez tonight. He was up front early in the race, faded back a little bit. Thought once he got shuffled out there in the middle, he was never going to be a factor because of the gridlock and all that stuff. But he had a really good night. Third straight top 10 for Suarez. Been having a lot of good runs as of late. This is huge confidence going into next year, especially depending on what his future is looking like. But a great run for Suarez, just misses out of getting it done. Justin Haley finished third. This is the Justin Haley of old. Justin Haley had one of the strongest cars in the field. We know he's a really good super speedway racer. One of the best runs I think Haley's had in his NASCAR Cup Series career at this point. A great run for Justin Haley, just not enough to get it done, but does finish in third. Cole Custer finished fourth. I thought Custer was going to win this race, to be honest. It looked like Custer on the white flag was going to get by Justin Haley to win. Came close to picking up. I think that's his first or second top 5 finish of the year. So fantastic run for Cole Custer. The best run I think this team's had all season. He finishes in fourth. Eric Jones finished fifth. A great run for Eric Jones tonight. He ran top 5 and top 10 in the second half of this race. Had a really strong pace and really, really good speed. A great run for Eric, looking for some momentum at the end of the season. Solid run for Eric. He finishes in fifth. Kyle Larson finished sixth. Yes, Kyle Larson was pretty aggressive throughout the night, but Larson ran up front majority of this race. Got a stage win as well. Got a ton of stage points as well. Led laps throughout the day. Gets a really strong top 10. Was in position to pick up his first ever super speedway win. This team, I feel like, is starting to get a lot of confidence. There's a lot of momentum with this program currently at the moment. A great run for Larson. He finishes sixth. Chris Buescher finished 7th. He was in position to pick up the win, just not enough to get it done tonight, but still a really good night for Chris Buescher. Unfortunately, will not compete for the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs this year, but a very solid run for Buescher. He finishes 7th. Ty Gibbs finished 8th. A much-needed run for the 54 team. This team has been very inconsistent in the second half of this regular season. Tonight, though, they had a really strong run. Gets a really solid top 10 and 8th. Good run for Ty Gibbs. Josh Berry finished 9th. Was quiet most of the night. Started inside the top 15, back-to-back top 10s. This is something that a 21 team is really needed because they've struggled a lot this regular season. So a solid top 10 run in 9th. Good run for him. And Chase Elliott finished 10th. Elliott ran top 10 near the end of this race, was up front in the early, kind of hanged in the back in the middle portion, but still had a solid night all night long, back in the top 10 after some really bad runs. He finishes in 10th. Todd Gillen finished 11th. Saw a recovery after getting involved in that incident with Tyler Reddick early in the race. He finished 11th. Michael McDowell finished 12th, was dicing it up with the field throughout the night. Had a really strong, good run most of the evening. He finishes there. Christopher finished 13th, was up front in the middle and end of this race, just faded back in the middle portion. He does get a top 15. Ryan Preece finished 14th, was in position to win this race, had a really, really good car. I know he's going to be disappointed to not make the playoffs, but this team has nothing to hang their head on. They've been really good. And hey, Ryan Preece didn't flip upside down this time, so good for juice for Preece there. He finished 14th. Ross Chastain finished 15th, got a stage win, gets a lot of points as well. One of the better runs that one team has had, but they still need better finishes at this point to get some momentum. He finished 15th. Shane Van Gisbergen finished 16th. A solid night for SVG. Led laps tonight, was in the top 20 quite a bit of this race. He kind of got trapped a little bit because of BJ McLeod hitting the outside wall, but it was good to see that Red Bull car finish up. I think that's back-to-back top 20s for Shane Van Gisbergen. That's the goal this team really needs to have at this point, is to try to finish in the top 20. A solid top 20 night for him. He finishes in 16th. John Henry Nemechek finishes 17th. A pretty good run for John Henry Nemechek, all things considered. Was up front, lost some track position at the end, but he does get a top 20. Brad Keselowski finished 18th. Thought Brad being more a factor tonight, was good early, but lost some track position throughout the night. I think he got some damage early in the race. He finished 18th. William Byron was up front near the middle to end of this race. He finishes in 19th. Not a great night for him. And Cody Ware. Want to give Cody Ware a slight shout, because Cody Ware had one of his better runs he's ever had in his Cup career. I get he finished 20th, but he led laps in this race. I think he led like 10 or 15 laps in the race tonight. A solid run from all things considered. He finished 20th. Tyler Reddick, who had damage, he will make the Cup Series playoffs. He finished 21st. Ty Dillon finishes in 22nd. Chase Briscoe finished 23rd up front early, but lost a lot of track position near the end. Austin Dillon finished 24th. Denny Hamlin, who struggled all night long, still does get a top 25 finish in 25th. AJ Allmendinger with his engine issues finishes in 26th. Joe Logano, after spinning, finished 27th. Logano had one of the strongest cars in the field, but nothing to show for it at the end of the day. He finishes back there. Joey Gase finished 28th. Casey Mears, despite the fact he had multiple tire issues, he does get a top 30 and 29, completes the race, completes as many laps as possible, gets a top 30 finish. And Austin Hill, who had damage from the big wreck, he finished 30th. Zane Smith finished 31st. BJ McLeod had his issues, finished 32nd. Kyle Busch finished 33rd. He diced it up front early, but unfortunately got caught up in the big crash and incident. Kyle Busch, for the second year, will not make the playoffs, unfortunately. Just looking for some momentum at this point. He finished 33rd. Carson Osborne, after his engine issues, finished 34th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished in 35th. Alex Bowman finished 36th. Alex Bowman is playing a sigh of relief at this point, pending post-race tech, of course, because Alex Bowman is right now in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. He was praying to the guys that he would be able to get in the night, and he makes the playoffs even with crashing. Now this team's going to be looking for that momentum once again. Luckily, there's some good tracks coming up for Bowman. He finished in 36th tonight. Bubba Wallace, after crashing, finished 37th. Noah Gragson finished 38th. Austin Skinner finished 39th. And finishing last in 40th is Riley Herbst. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the playoff standings, and in race 1, headed to Darlington Raceway. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the playoff standings entering the first race of the round of 16. So Kyle Larson will enter with plus 26. William Byron will also be plus 26, so they're tied for first. Danny Hamlin enters plus 23. Ryan Blaney will enter plus 20. Christopher Bell will enter plus 17. Shane Van Gisbergen, with his solid road course performances, will enter plus 16. Chase Lane enters plus 7. Chase Briscoe enters plus 4. Bubba Wallace is up by 2. Austin Cindric's up by 2. Ross Chastain and Joe Logano are up by 1. Guys below, Josh Berry is down by 1. Tyler Reddick is down by 1 as well. Austin Hill enters with -2, and Alex Bowman enters -5. Looking at that grid, I think guys like Larson, Byron, Hamlin are probably shoo-ins at this point to get through the first round. SVG is probably the dark horse because we got Darlington. I think he could be really solid there. If he runs like he did tonight, I think he's got a really good chance to hang on to that. So now, let's talk about the whole entire race and get my thoughts on it. The early portion of the race, I was really worried because, oh God, we're having a lot of crashes, a lot of wrecks, and a lot of cars. And I thought we were going to have a wreck fest tonight. And sure, we did have a lot of wrecks throughout the night. But I gotta say, once it got past the wrecks early in the race, I thought the racing tonight was really fantastic. Was it perfect super speedway racing? No. I still think this car has some of those drag issues we gotta work on for sure. I still think there's things that need to be worked on. But for super speedway standards in the next-gen era, this is definitely one of the better races we have seen so far in the next-gen era at super speedways. You had a lot of opportunities to make the pass. You didn't see as much gridlock tonight as you've seen in other races, which is something I've been majorly against. I'm not a big fan of the gridlock. I think the racing tonight was honestly solid. He had a lot of drivers being able to make moves. I think it was better than we've seen in the past. And he also had a really good finish as well at the top on that with a 4-wide finish across the line. The racing was fun, really enjoyable. Not perfect, but a pretty good super speedway race for the Sanders. My score of today's race at Daytona is going to be about an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. I think it's in that general score. A pretty good race tonight, especially for Daytona Sanders in the next gen. Great racing, fun event tonight. My score is going to be a 9 out of 10 for tonight's race. So, that is going to be it for the NASCAR Cup Series race review from Daytona International Speedway for the Coke Zero Sugar 400. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's discussion below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on tonight's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and congratulate Ryan Blaney on picking up the win. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I might do a Shane Van Gisbergen video later tonight. We'll just have to wait and see if I decide to do that or not. I'm not sure if I am going to do that tonight, though. Tomorrow, I'm going to have the 2026 NASCAR Rally Auto Parts Silly Season predictions dropping on the channel. You'll see that in the morning. And then, of course, on Monday, we'll have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. Talk about the Connor Zilish news, Junior Motorsports, talk about the Colligan Ram news that broke, talk about people like Haley Deegan, Nesby, G. Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, Frankie Muniz, Clay Zafron, Eric Amaral, Chandler Smith, all of that good stuff. We'll talk about it on the channel as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.